Oh, hey, look, it's voiceover me. I didn't have an intro for this video, so I figured I'd shoot something quick. We're finally going to fix my 2005 Chrysler Town Country. I was supposed to have sold this van when I bought Beetroot the 94, but clearly the thing was such a pile, I couldn't get it sold for 500 bucks. I'd been flaked out on the thing twice, so I'm like, screw this, I'll fix it. And so what we're going to do here is we are going to go through the rear brakes, put on new wheel bearings and get all of that all done. There was one of the wheel bearings I thought was making noise, so I figured, hey, let's do both. Yeah, and then it had a loose inner tie rod, so we want to go do the tie rods, right? Get that done, get the alignment done, and then that takes a rough turn. Actually, in the middle of fixing that, I started procrastinating, in which case I started sticking a screwdriver through the rocker panel, and I finally was like, heck with this, we're gonna fix these rocker panels and we're gonna get it done. I've had the panels sitting in a box in the basement for like 4 years now. So you're gonna watch me kind of do it right, but also kind of take some shortcuts. I kind of balance between how much time I had to do it and how much effort I wanted to put in, while also trying to do it as correctish as possible. So with what I have left of the van, and you'll see how that works out.
See, I don't quite remember here now. I did these brakes a couple of years ago, and they really haven't been driven on since. But I thought I reused the old drums when I did it, which is what I thought the brake shake was coming from. As you can see, the pads and the hardware and everything, that's all new. And then the drum, which came right off because I used anti-seize, note that. The drum looks new. So, unless the drums were bad to begin with, the drum looks pretty new to me. Right? Like, I don't see any Chrysler sticker or, Pentastar on it either. Which you would think would be on it if it wasn't new, but it looks new to me. Yeah, that all feels fine. This feels fine. This looks fine. I think it's even a new wheel cylinder. And I believe this line is new too. I think that predates it though, because it's part of this soft line. So I think that's all new. Huh. Same story on this side. It looks fine. I think the adjuster's just a little stuck on the driver's side, but it's free on this side. Everything looks new. Pads look good. Yeah, I did this like 4 years ago. I don't quite remember. And then it sat for a while because I had the doors off and I didn't finish putting them on. Long story. Bearings don't seem that bad, but what I think I'm gonna do is I've already bought the new bearings. These bearings have 317 or 18, 318,500 miles on them now. I think we're gonna replace the bearings, and I got shocks for it, so I think I'm gonna throw the new shocks on it that I was planning on putting on it. And then I'm going to swap the new rear tires on it that I got for it. And then we'll take it for a ride, see how it feels, see how it sounds, and go from there. I think I'm going to leave the brakes alone for now, except maybe freeing up the adjuster on the driver's side. Probably just needs hit with a screwdriver. It's all new. It's been lubed up. See what that anti-seize does? The drums just fall off. Isn't that nice? Maybe these bearings have been done before. We certainly didn't, and so it's been at least 15 years. But those kind of came out really, really easy. Granted, you got to use some funny tools for some of it. For the bottom two bolts, you got to use this shallow socket. That's 18 mil, this one is, but it takes a 3/4 ratcheting wrench, as you can see right there. Or that one, actually. I tried to get an 18 wrench on it, it's too shallow. So you take this guy, and that allows you the room to get them out. But they broke free just fine with that. Oh, I think the bearing hub will come off, though. We can try it real quick. Okay, I might mute that for you guys. It's really loud. Alright, well, I'm going to work on that. because clearly that might take some effort, but we'll see. Well, there's one side out. It's been in there a while. Like I said, I know it's been in there since we've owned it, so at least 2009, if it had been replaced, but it was stuck to the backing plate more than it was stuck to the hub after I broke it free. But that's just all the rust jacking and whatever. So that's off. Now, this one right here is a non-ABS hub, and the ones I got that were in stock and cheaper were ABS hubs. It should fit the same. It shouldn't be any problems. So before I tear the other side apart, I'll make sure. Granted, I already destroyed this bearing hitting on it, but you know, there. All I gotta do is clean up this inside surface a little bit, which actually looks pretty good. Apply some anti-seize to it, so if this ever happens again, which I don't think the van will live that long, but you never know. The next guy, which is probably me, won't have to fight it so much. And I'm gonna set these bolts in here to kind of hold the hub up so I can get in here. Yeah, with a piece of sandpaper or something. Looks pretty good. Not too bad. I had to take the brakes off to do that, but that's okay. Now, does a guy just put the new shoes on, new drums, and be done with it? I think I will. And then I'll save these until I verify if the shake is gone. If the shake disappears, I'm throwing that all out. If the shake doesn't disappear, I'll maybe hang on to it as a in a pinch new-ish brake shoes, I guess, for a 4th gen Caravan. Hopefully the other side comes apart easier than that, or just as this wasn't too bad, but hopefully it comes apart easier. I don't want to take apart the brakes, but I guess I have to. Yeah, there we go. Well, there you go. They're on there, or the new hub is on there. This is the ABS hub. I gotta put that orange cap back on the plug because we're not gonna obviously plug in the ABS we don't have. There. Fits just fine. No big deal. I think this was cheaper than the non-ABS hub, believe it or not. So, it doesn't really matter. It makes no difference. This whole front piece should be the same, in quotes, as far as manufacturing is concerned. In fact, the whole hub's probably the same, except they add a sensor plate on the back. So if you look here, it's just got a plug. So I think that's the only difference in manufacturing is they add a sensor. I don't know why it's cheaper. Probably because they make more of them. So I gotta beat the other side off. Right there. I think we're in there. We might as well just put the new hardware on and the new drums. Like I said, we've got it in there. We'll just do it. I hate doing that and getting rid of perfectly good parts, in quotes, so it is what it is, though. That should make him pretty good time today, believe it or not. There, that new hub is in on both sides, and I just opened up the brake boxes. Apparently, I didn't go through the Rock Auto box. I just threw them in the back. What I got? 2 stickers, or magnets, and I don't think I've got that one. That's number 1. Look at that, and there was one in each box, so they were just, that's the one they were giving out today, and I guess I got 2 of them now. Look at that. clearly I'm a liar. There's 4 of them now. All right, there, passenger side drum brakes rebuilt. Using all of our new old hardware that was new, you know, a couple years ago. New pads. This one looks like it needs to get kicked up just a little bit. Kind of got to get them seated right. They're seated. I got to adjust them still. Yeah, that all came apart just fine. Got it all back together. A little bit of anti-seize on these guys never hurts. And I got brake grease up on them. This is what I used to rebuild them with. That's it. That's all I needed. And we got a new wheel bearing. It's all new shiny in here. And we got a new drum right there. Here's the old hardware. I'm going to put them in the box with the old drum. Put them in there. Hang on to them for now. But that looks pretty good. There's one new Monroe OE Spectrum shock. That one kind of had a little bit of life left in it. It's not very good, but it's got a little bit in it. It comes back up, but there you go. It's got a little bit of life in it, but that one's a little better. All right, let's see what we're doing. Seems decent. Oh, that's really nice, actually. There's definitely a quieter. I didn't think the bearings were really that bad. That's definitely quieter. See if we shake with the brake pedal. No, not really, actually. I gotta beat these brakes, and so like 55 to 30 a couple times, and then 30 to 0 a couple times. That actually feels decent. And who knows, it could have been the bearings causing the wobble too, you never know. Oh, I feel a little bit in the pedal still, but it's better than it was. Well, I'd say the test drive went well. With the hard braking, I actually smell brake up in the front. I believe it's front right it was getting warm. I might have been front left. That one might be. I don't know. They're both kind of, the fronts are kind of warm. The caliper slide pins might need some unsticking. That could be part of the shake too. They're hanging up and heating up the rotors a little bit. That's always possible. But those tires look good. I haven't even checked the air pressure in them. They're still got junkyard air in them. They seem pretty good. Those are nice. I like the tread on them too. Bridgestone. Yeah, those aren't bad. But I am going to get the front up in the air. I'm going to shake it down. They're saying maybe snow this week. So I know I got to get it scheduled for an alignment. But it took quite a few thousand miles to burn these tires up on the outer edge. So I might run the new hand cooks, at least for the week, and then I can get the alignment scheduled. At least then I won't, wreck the van. So I'd rather not run kind of baldy-ish tires. This one's not bad. This one isn't wearing like that one. And I think this is the one that's out of alignment. I think it's kicked out this way. And who knows, maybe I can try correct that quick. And I'm gonna get tires there. I'm gonna shake it down, make sure there's no loose parts or anything. And then maybe I'll look at popping the axle nut off. We'll see. Maybe I'll try those bearings and then make this thing undrivable as I, have trouble doing that and not finish it tonight. But I'm gonna get it up in the air. I'm gonna look at it. We'll see. Very least, I am gonna put the new tires on it that I got for it, the new Hancooks for the fronts. And those are balanced. I don't think these were ever balanced. They just kind of were. Maybe they were. I don't know. There's a weight on there. I don't know if that's an old weight or a new weight. I don't remember anymore. It's been so long. Big project here that was started and then didn't properly get finished originally. So, yeah. Well, I've got it up in the air and I shook it down. I got no up and down play, so no bearing play, but I got in and out play on both sides, so tie rod ends. Well, here's the thing. I got new ends on it, I think. We'll see when I take tires off, but it's probably inners on one or both sides, so good thing I checked, I guess. So we'll see. I'll take a tire off. We'll do one side at a time. We'll take a look. Well, if I replace that tie rod end, it sure don't look like it. I don't know why I would have put a non-greasable one too. So to me, I got it unbolted here. I want to pop it out of the spindle, and really feel it. I kind of feel a little play in the outer and the inner, and it really doesn't look like I replaced it. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I know I got a new shock in here, as you can see. This I did replace. It's got a Moog. It says Moog on it. It's greasable. I would have put a greasable one in here. I did grease this up. And the ball joint down there had a grease zerk on it. I had to take that out and clean it up real good. That ball joint took grease after I cleaned up the grease zerk. But, yeah, I'm going to smack the knuckle real quick, pop this guy. It really doesn't look like I replaced it. I'm not going to lie to you. So a couple of smacks right here with me putting upward pressure on this guy with my hand. Pops right out. That is shot. This inner is junk. I can very easily do that. But the outer, when I kind of hold it up against something, it's got a little bit of play in it. So it's going to get both. It's going to get an inner and an outer. So that's just how it is. I'm going to put a jack stand on this side, pop the other side off, do a quick check on this. Actually, before that, I'm going to see if there's even anywhere that's got these in stock that, I can pick up really quick. Because then I'll just slam new inners and outers in it quick. But, yeah. Well, I pulled the boot back, and something tells me fluid is not supposed to be in there. Wonder if that helps do in our inner tie rods, All the grease is gone, so it's got a little bit of play in it. Makes a little bit of sense to me, but that seal on this side doesn't look like it was leaking. So it might be the other side, because the fluid came out of the hose too. Like the little tube that goes between them. Interesting. Yeah. Don't know that I like to see that. Am I completely surprised? No, not really, but, the boot was holding it, I guess, right? So it's probably fine. Ha 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 ha. I think that's what I'm going to tell myself. I'm not going to get too close, but that's a rodent friend. And there's his foot. Interesting. Also, I know which side's leaking on the rack and pinion. It's that side. I could tell by the way that it is. So we pan away from the other side. Yeah, I think this is where the bad side of the rack and pinion is. That might change things a little bit. So, yeah. No sense in putting tie rods on a bad rack. You know what I mean? So there's no way I did that tie rod either. And I know myself enough. I'm starting to think of what happened is. So I started this project, if I recall, it was probably a clunky sway bar arm. And so I went in to do this, and then I realized that they were seized to the shock, and then I realized the shock was bad, so I just replaced both. And then I I did the brakes, as you can see. I did the front brakes, and then I did the rears at the time, and then I was going to go get an alignment after the shocks, and then I realized that, hey, the tie rods are bad And so I bet you my thought process originally was it needs tie rods before alignment. And somewhere in the last couple of years, that thought got corrupted. And it's like, oh, I put new tie rods on. No, dumbass, you need to put tie rods on it. I think that's what it was. That's going to be what I'm going to go with. That's the most plausible answer. But this inner's not really bad. This side, surprisingly, the leaky side isn't so bad. But I think the rack is not good. I think the rack not good, you know, based on that. I'm going to pull that seal off, or the boot off this side. We're going to take a look underneath. I think it needs a rack and pinion. Oh, I don't know where I left off last with you guys, but when we popped the boots off the rack, they started dumping fluid out. So, yeah, the rack's bad. And then we figured out it was bad on this side. I'm in the middle of pulling the rack out now. I have a new one. I got the 2 bolts on the passenger side out. I'm working on the last one. Anyway, I don't know if you can see it. I got my socket hanging there on the last bolt. You got to get up on top. This one's a 21 or a 13/16. I got to get this wrench up there to hold it. I was able to get in there and spray it. But we'll get that out, and then it should drop down to where I can get at the lines to pop the lines off. And then the rack will slide out. So, yeah, it's not too bad. If you could drop the cradle, like the little, not the whole cradle, but like the bracket there, it'd make it a little easier. Get impact at these. But you get in there with a swivel extension. I got the other 2 out without a swivel extension. This one you need a swivel, the 21. But we're getting there, getting her out. All right, we got that last bolt on the run. I'm going to show you something here. So I've got a 13/16 wrench down here, and I did it from the top. See it there? I was able to get in there and get on that nut, and it's binding up against that motor mount. So, and we had it spinning. I had my dad help me spin it down there to line it up, but it's on there. So now I'm going to go back underneath and just keep ratcheting it. I sprayed it again. So hopefully it comes out. We'll see. Yep, I got him. That's the play right there. That's the one way it seems I can get a wrench in there. It's right back through there. Crazy. Anyway, I'm going to leave it down there, or up there with the nut. That'll be fun lining that up. Obviously, do the other 2 first, but there he is. It's all the hardware. So the rack is loose. Now, what I was hoping is this would drop it enough that I can maybe get at the lines for it, but I don't know. Oh, it definitely is lower. I might have to undo like the brackets that hold the lines in. I'm gonna get down there and look and see what the best way to get at the lines are. And I suppose it's got to fall off the steering column too, so I might have to help it a little bit. We'll see. I'll get my hands up there. Okay, so I had to look up the trick to this to get at the line nuts. So you got to get in here, ignore all of the chewed sound deadening. We'll ignore that. But you have to get this guy off, which in my case, I had to pry up on it while undoing these screws because they were so rusty they were spinning. You can see the first couple of threads are... I'm surprised that didn't snap off, to be honest with you. Same with that one. Anyway, I got it off, and you notice that my rack would have never come off of this column, which you have to have disconnect up here. It's a 13 mil nut. He's rusted on there pretty solid, so that'll have to get taken off while the rack's out, which I don't know if the rack will fall out with this thing on there. That might prove to be an issue. Anyway, I'll probably have to start soaking this, and I'll have to beat it out or something funny. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's not gonna... The rack ain't gonna come out with this in here. The way it is, especially without dropping that little, not little, but the cradle. Which, the reason I'm not dropping the cradle is because I don't trust that body mount bolt to come out. I don't trust that, and it's a lot of extra bolts, so, you know, if I don't have to, that would be cool. Which, you should be able to slide it out the side. It looks like it'd fit if it weren't for maybe this might be our problem. But hey, I can get in here and I can actually like lubricate it now. But yeah, he's supposed to come out of there. Show him. I think, right? Or do I have to drive that roll pin out? I don't... Yeah, because that stays with it. I have to drive that roll pin out, don't I? I didn't get that far. Anyway, I looked up how to get at the lines, which this is the best way that I saw on the internet. As you can see, we can get at them now. So, I might as well go back to the same video. I don't know who it is at this time. If I remember, I'll post a link or something right here, but I'll probably forget. I have to say about driving that roll pin out. Okay, might have to do that. I will let you know if we do. I'm thinking I got to. I'm about to get the van pulled in here, so I pulled all the old tires out. Gotta get the jacks under there, get tires put on it. It can't steer, clearly, because the rack's undone, but I should be able to guide it into the garage. We'll see how that goes. But I'm getting ready to do that now. I'm just cleaning up my mess here. I gotta be able to get this rack done, and I can't do it out here in this cold, windy, whatever. So we're gonna get it in the garage where we can work on it. Got the steering wheel loosely hooked up. Obviously the rack's not bolted in, but I got a little bit of ability to turn the wheels, just enough to steer it, I think. See that shiny headlight? I finally put in the other shiny light that I bought a couple years ago. That matches pretty good. Okay, so I put 2 bolts back in the rack, and now I'm going through here, and I've got the top line coming loose now with an 18mm wrench, as you can see. And I'm gonna sit here and back that out for a while, and then I'll get the other one out, and we'll see if we can slide the rack out. Otherwise, I gotta figure out how to drop that cradle. Okay, so we do gotta take this cradle plate off. We can't clear that, but these are not gonna play nice. 2 body mount bolts right here. I'm spraying them and hitting them with the impact. I think that kind of just tweaked, but they ain't moving, which is a problem. Got one out. That's the driver's side. I think the nut in there is a little loose, actually. I don't know. I'll have to look at it, but it came out. That Makita 18-volt impact saved the day. This one I don't think was going to snap, though. It doesn't look that bad. I mean, it's rusty, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Yep, a lot of back and forth, a lot of PB. There she is. Now we got one more, and I think after that, I know we're good. But these were what was scaring me. But we had to do it, so it's either that or it gets hauled away or it gets hauled away. Sometimes you just got to do it. I mean, got to. Look at it smoking. It's not hot down here, but it's like smoking up there. There. There's one out, and then this one fought us for a while. Went through 2 batteries, but he's out too. Look at that. There's one out, and then this one fought us for a while. Went through 2 batteries, but he's out too. Look at that. Alright, I got all of the bolts out for the cradle. I just got to pry it out. It's loose, as you can see. Get him dropped out of there, and we'll be good to go. Everything came out with the impact all right. The only 2 bolts that fought me, well, this is the only one that really fought me. I had to get the breaker bar on this 21 mil right there. But yeah, they're all out. Well, there it is. It's out. I had to do a little bit of prying to get this to want to come out, because it clearly didn't, but it's out. There it is. That's got to get cleaned off and probably sprayed with some kind of paint. But a lot of cleaning to go. But it's off. Look at that. Now I gotta get that rack and pinion out of there still. There's a little maneuvering to get him out, I think. So we got it down, but the outer tie rod's still on. I didn't take them off because I was dumb. They will not drop out. And because we've still got this shaft in here. Now I can get at this roll pin. I think I didn't do it while it was in the vehicle, because I couldn't get at it to where that thing needs to get cranked on. It's pretty rusted in there. Granted, I've been spraying it for a few days, so I'm going to try smack the roll pin out here now that I've got a view on it. And then I think with that out, I'll be able to maneuver the rack to the side enough to clear the control arms to get this drop down. Now we won't have this problem going back in because neither of these pieces will be in there, including the outer tie rods. So, well, there it is. It's out. Came out okay once I got the roll pin out. I had to smack the, what do you want to call that, little shaft. Got it to go down and up, and it came out okay. Here she is. It's out. Shouldn't need anything on here because the new one comes with new boots and everything, and we have new tie rod ends. Shouldn't need any of this. I'll set it off to the side until we got the new one in. Well, there's some progress. New rack goes in a lot easier if you have that guy out. If you got it, take that plate out. Just do it. Like I said, the only reason I was worried is because I was worried my bolts would snap off, in which case I would haul the thing off to scrap. But mine came out. Make sure you spray it from the backside where there's an opening and back and forth with that impact. Back and forth, back and forth. Or a manual breaker bar if you have to. We had to break this one loose with a breaker bar after getting it stuck. But it's up there. With this bolt over here, with the charcoal box and everything out, you can get the wrench in from the back and the lines out of the way. You can get in there. Made it a lot easier. I cleaned up those bolts and nuts before I put them back out, which made it easy to start them by hand. Now, before we do anything else, I'm gonna get the tie rod ends on, the new ones and everything. Don't forget to put your jam nut on first. Get them close. Get them bolted up. And then I'm gonna get the lines in on the top side, and then we'll put the shaft in. Smack the pivot, or what do you want to call this guy? Where is he? Right here. This little guy. What do you call those? I had the name in my head earlier. Roll pin. Get him smacked in from in the vehicle. Now that he's out, it'll be easier to smack back in. But we're getting there. Clean up all the bolts for the subframe, bracket, brace bar. I got him soaking and super clean right now. We're going to scrape all the rust, or not rust, but all the grease off of it. And then we'll get it back up there as well. Alright, got the lines back in there all tightened down. That was a pain to get them started from down below. Do the bottom one first clearly. Get them started by hand and come up here with the 18 mil wrench. Helps having this guy out of the way too. Time to get him on, and then we'll, before we put anything else on, I'm going to bleed the power steering system. Okay, I got the roll pin about halfway, and I figured I'd show you. I got this nice long punch, and I haven't moved the rack. They said not to move the rack. They said they centered it at the factory when they remanned it. I trust them, so I haven't moved the rack at all. I just put the shaft on, and the roll pin's in the perfect spot. I can just tap it in from here. Should go in pretty easy, you know. Actually came out better than I figured it would, but harder to get out than, you know, put back in, I suppose. But there it is. Got it running. I'm bleeding the power steering right now. Seems to work. The rack seems okay. We're not dumping fluid everywhere. Looking good. I got the garage door open, vent and exhaust. Well, I took a measurement on the old rack, and on both sides, on the other side of the stopper nut here, it was 1.5 inches within a 1/16. So that's what I set these to, and it looks pretty straight. The wheel's straight right now, and that's pretty straight. Maybe that one's kicked out a hair, but I think it was before. That one almost looks dead straight, but obviously we won't know until we have the wheels on. And I will try align it after we get the wheels on, get it on the ground. I'll check the, you know, the leveling on the struts here, and I'll try to get them set pretty straight. And then we'll set the tie rods. That'll get it close. That'll get it so we can drive it, make sure everything works, and then get it to the shop. Otherwise, I got to take the rack in, get my core back, and then I got to stop at the hardware store and see if I can find 2 bolts to replace the body mount bolts there. I'm going to replace them if I can. If not, I'm just going to send them home after cleaning them up. But, yeah, we're looking pretty good. I don't know if I showed you, but I did bleed it. I'm letting it gravity bleed a little more, but it seems like it was bled out. I got all this done before I did it. Got 3 new self-tappers in, holding the little plastic grommet in. Make sure to put that guy on before you bolt it up to the steering column, you know, naturally. But it's sitting straight, looking pretty good. Okay, so I'm waiting for this bracket to dry here, right? That's the cradle plate. Figure that's not going to be dry tonight, so I'm reopening this can of worms, and I've already reopened it. As you can see, the door I got off. And the door has got a little plug here. You can get in there and pop him, and then it's a clip here, which the clip pulled this metal up, and then the other clip stayed behind. And then this is all that's left of the middle plate here. So, you know, I just made one cut here, and that's it. That's all that was left of it. Quick, easy removal. And so the way this works is these rockers are in 3 pieces. You have your dog leg panel that comes up to here, as you can see, and that is overlapped by this piece right here, which is then overlapped by the front rocker, which is that piece right there. Anyway, so I got it cut off here. I got to remove all the old stuff. Obviously, this piece gives us this whole thing, kind of, and the front piece. It does not give us a backing piece, which we are missing, clearly. I'm going to have to machine that out of license plates or something, you know, of equal quality. But the way you got to do is you got to do the dog leg first, because you got to be able to overlap these panels to connect them together, and then you do this panel, and then you do the front panel. So I figure this is some easy winnings right here to cut this out of the way. So I got to make one more small cut, probably, where's the end of that panel? Right about there. And then it's overlapped. This panel has got an inner panel here, which we got to drill a bunch of spot welds for and whatever. But I'll probably just make a quick cut right there. Leave the original panel here so I know what I got to do, because I got to drill that out anyway. So I'll make a quick cut there, get this out of our way, and then we'll start digging into this, which there isn't much left, as you can see. I filled this with foam a long time ago to keep dust out. It worked very well. The metal was already rotten at the time, so I figured I wasn't going to do much more hurting. But there's the rocker panel coming off right there. As you can see, there's one spot weld holding it on right there, which ain't gonna hold it on for very much longer. And then this is all filled with foam. Some of this I added. A lot of this was here before. Like, this is factory foam right here. You know, so that's all got to disappear. And hopefully there's some inner structure left that we can weld to. Or self-tapper to. We'll see. We'll see how in-depth we get in this process. But we're going to do something about it. I got it in a heated garage right now. I have it apart. Let's get it done, right? Let's get her done. We're going to put this van back together. Let's do it. So I'm going to just bring it back and forth as I cut pieces off and make progress. So yeah, this is what was left of the rocker panel. A couple of plastic fake vent plugs. You know, maybe it could vent air, you know, and get rid of all the moisture that the spray foam sucked up, or no. And look at this, is not like somebody added this to, like, you know, cover up rust. This was in here from the factory to sound deaden, and instead it just rusted the whole car out. And this is the inner rocker in here, you know, like some of that, you know, I don't know what we're gonna do. This here, this right here, this metal plate here is the metal plate for this guy, where this is, you can see where the spot welds were. That guy's all okay. This is where that thing rusts away, you got problems. But it seems okay. This bushing's seen better days, but we'll just ignore him. But yeah, that's okay. That was made out of solid metal, as you can tell. This rocker is made of nothing, and spray foam. So we got to beat all this out, because I'm sure there'll be nothing left of this when I'm done with it. Like this whole piece right here, this whole inner piece, there's going to be nothing left of that. I don't know what we're going to do to rebuild that, or just ignore it. But, you know, there's nothing left of that bottom piece in there. This is all thin as can be. Like, you know. But we'll pull all of this stuff out. Put these, I mean, these fake vents do nothing. These plugs, we'll set them up there. Yeah, I'm just going to keep pounding away, but this is what it looks like. And then maybe I'll find something to attach this to. I don't think so. We have to find something to attach the dog leg to, and then once we get that, we can attach this to that, and then we can work our way forward, and there's some metal up here we can attach to. And then we'll fill in the rest with, you know, sheet metal or whatever. But look at this. There's just nothing left. Nice. Okay, so I put our dogleg panel in place, and I marked off the absolute highest that I'm able to go, which is that. And clearly the rust is pretty well up that high. I'll probably cut it at about here and then sand off here and just see what she looks like. But yeah, there ain't much left there. Ain't much left. And I didn't do any cutting here. That all came off with a hammer and a screwdriver. Notice all the foam down here. Some of this is the foam. See this color stuff right here? That's the stuff I put in up here, which I still got to finish digging back out. All of this foam right here, this is factory foam. And back in this corner, it was moist. This van hasn't been on the road in a couple of weeks, and it hasn't been driven in rain, and it was moist back here. So that just goes to show you that it holds moisture. So yeah, we got to get this outer piece of metal off of right here. You can see there's a couple of spot welds here, because that's where the new dog leg right here will butt up to. Otherwise, just get this outer piece panel off here. See what's left of the inner. There isn't really much. There's a couple spot welds right here we got to drill out, as you can see right there, there. There's probably a couple more going down this way. Got to split this two pieces here, because we got to be able to spot weld to that, or screw to it, or whatever we do. Yeah, down here's another story. I don't know what we're going to do. Better off putting the new panel on and then working from there. Getting there. More than I thought I was going to do tonight. How about that? That's pretty bad. Part of a mouse nest fell out above the foam up there. But we got it all out, as you can see. Got all of that out to her. You know, there ain't much metal left. Up to the front part of the rocker. And I'll worry about up there once this is all done. I've done enough excavating. So my plan is, like I said, drill these out, get the rest of this outer panel out, and we're going to adhere our new outer panel to what's left of this. I'll have to get the grinder in here, knock some of this down too. We're not going to worry about cutting all this out. I might spray it and rust treat it before and prime it, just to slow it down, but this van has got a lot of cancer in it. This is very advanced stage rust. There's supposed to be a whole lower inner rocker here. It's not. There's nothing there. Here, what I can do to show that is we will grab the piece that's supposed to go here, and that piece will sit right here. And what's great is that it does actually catch quite a lot. But see, we're missing a whole inner piece. I can see out to the floor back there. So we're going to have to make a whole inner piece. That piece isn't made. Going to have to make something there, because that's all exposed to air. See all that? I can see a tire. But that's what we get to replace is that right there. You know, so that's some, but that's not all of what we get. So that's pretty advanced. And it is completely, well, clearly the rust belt has done her in, but this foam they sprayed in here, and this van seems to have gotten a lot of it. Some of them don't get so much, some of them get a lot. This one has clearly gotten a lot, because the entire thing was foam. I mean, there was some rocker panel here, but it was literally all foam. That was all that was there, dust-covered foam. Alright, back to work. I will bring you an update in a bit. Okay, I've almost got it all done, so slowly been working my way up. Drilling out the spot welds, as you can see. I drilled in. You can just barely hit the back panel. And then what I got is I had a thicker one, but this one seems to work pretty well for what I'm doing. But you work this way up here, and you smack this one with a hammer. This one's actually one you're supposed to be able to hit. Notice the metal tip on the end? So I've been working this guy, and you just break the welds as you go up after you drill through them. And then because it's got a curve here, I got to cut here. And we're up to the point where I've broken this spot weld. I'm going to go across and cut all the way across. I've come here and I busted this spot weld out too. He's about ready to go. Once we get this out of the way, there is only this little piece down here that's left, and I don't know. There's some spot welds in there, but I don't know what's left of them. Once we get this piece out, as you can see, this whole guy here, that is part of the panel we're replacing, and get this flat here. There's no metal in the way of the new dog leg, which is this guy right here. And we'll test fit, make sure we get it ready, and then we're going to go through here, and we're going to clean this up best we can, rust treat it, prime it, call it good. That is what it is. It is better than it was. And then we will slap this new piece of metal over top, and we'll have something to maybe kind of attach the next panel to. Not really. There really is nothing to attach the next panel to, which is not good. So I might have to make a flat piece going across and attach it to here, and then find something over here. There's nothing over here to attach it to, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's where it gets fun here, is finding place to attach the metal. There's actually, I'll be able to make a backing piece here, because we'll attach it here, and then we'll attach it to this piece here. And that'll give me something here to attach the next piece to. You know, that way I can work my way forward. But we should have the dog leg in no time flat here. I say that no time flat is going to be a little while, but I've got a Red Bull open, so you know I'm in it for the long haul here. And maybe while this paint's drying, I'll start working on another piece and work my way forward. So, yeah, it's not great, but hey, we're in here, we're doing what we can. And once we get this all, done best we can, before we put the, seal up the backside, we'll come in here with fluid film and whatever. I also think I got to pull this plastic trim piece clip off, get rid of him. He's not doing any good anyway. And I might self-tapper in a little piece of metal here to cover this hole, because we don't want, dust and dirt and debris and rodents getting in through this hole here. So we might seal that up too. And then same with, we'll have to make a piece on the inside here to seal up this side again, because there's obviously a giant hole here. But, at least the pretty side is going to look good, the part that shows. Very good. How's that for a first look? Just got it kind of clamped on there. I think my plan is I'm going to take a cut of both, possibly. I think I'm going to go like that. That way the cut is the same, so I can butt weld it. I think that's what I want to do. I haven't quite decided yet, but before I do any of that, I want to take the second panel and kind of test fit it here and make sure we're still lined up, which is why I got this clipped into place here. But we're looking pretty good. This, when we go to do this, we'll have to go like that to get it up into place, but that's no big deal. It's pretty normal. And we'll probably hold it in place with a self-tapper or a pliers or something. I don't know. I gotta go dig all my vice grips out, but, there we go. There's a good start. That's progress. I would say the test fit's pretty dang good. I got the back piece drilled out of the way there. There's 4 spot welds here, 1, 2, 3, and 4 behind there, holding this second piece to the first piece. Anyway, I got him up there in place. It's kind of out here because of the way it's sprung, because I got it clamped down there. That looks pretty good. I would say the gap looks okay for what it is. Clearly we're missing this whole inner panel. There's supposed to be a lower piece that this all sets with that we don't have. So that is just what it is. I'll have to, like I said, come up with something for back there that you can't really see. Here, if I do that. This is where we're at. See, I can see the leaf spring and everything. See, there's an inner panel there, but there's also another panel that was there that came up and was right here, as you can see. That guy's all gone, so that is what it is. We'll have to come up with a back piece there, and then I guess we'll just fill this full of fluid film or whatever we do, And then this piece goes up here. When we go in to put it in, that'll be up like that, because it should butt up to this piece right here. Granted, that's kind of also bent because it's rusty. But as far as a rough fit goes, I think we're in the right spot with the dog leg. I think that's okay. That should weld together just fine right there. No problems. Now I just gotta figure out how I want to do this here. Guess my line was pretty good. So I decided to cut right up to the line. We're going to use this whole panel. It was rusted right up till here. So we're going to get as much new metal in here as we can. I got it clamped on right here. And if you look, it lines up really darn good. It even lines up better if I get one hand here and I use this to push this up. It's kind of tweaked just because of the way that it is. So once we get it, held in down there and held in up here, we'll come in, we'll just, kind of tack weld across. And, yeah, we'll build that up and then we'll, grind it down as best we can. It doesn't have to be, all that strong. It's just a body panel. And we're still gonna, skim coat over it or whatever we're gonna do. Doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be present, which is a lot more than it was. So, yeah, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. I suppose I also have to drill a couple holes in here, because we're gonna need to plug weld all the way through there, or until we run out of metal right there. And there's no point in putting holes down there, because there's nothing to metal, or, weld to. So... that looks pretty good, though. That was pretty good. For not knowing I was going to do this a couple hours ago, it looks pretty good. Okay, I knocked all the loose rust off. Got it hit with a coat of rust convert. And then we're going to hit it with some self-etching weld-through primer. And then I've also got the holes drilled out for the plug welds that we're going to do. So, pretty good. Pretty good. Actually, I got to drill 2 more here. I forgot. See, I got them marked, and then I didn't drill them yet. But, looking pretty A-okay. Now, I think I'm going to come find the patch piece I'm going to do here quick and get that in place. Well, I can't say that's pretty, but you ain't going to see it. Got some small sheet metal, like thin, like pop can thickness sheet metal. Self-tapered it in 10 million spots, and then I seam sealed it up so it is sealed. There, beats the holes that were in it, right? And it's already got a coating of like primer on it, so we're not going to worry about coating it. I got the rusty metal primer already on this. I would say it's ready to go. Hopefully we'll be able to weld to this. We'll see. I mean, this metal is all rusty, and who knows what it's all attached to, so I don't know if I'll get a good ground, but we'll see. Okay. Don't judge so harshly. I got it where it counted on these. I mean, it looks not pretty at all, but hasn't broke yet. Seems pretty solid to me. Got it down there. Got it down here. Got it up there. My cut here is going to have to get filled. And then I kind of poked it here as best I could without, catching the inside of this panel on fire. You got to be very careful about that. You get a fire in here, you're going to have a fun time pushing it out of the garage as it burns to the ground. So, it's on there. I'm going to take a grinder to it, smooth it off. It's just kind of to hold these together a little bit. Fiberglass will do the rest, and skim coat. But, hey, that is a piece of metal. That is a dog leg, and it's on there, and it's cool, and that's really nice, and it's great. Now I move on to the next panel. I have yet to figure out how I'm going to attach it properly besides to this. So, yeah. Well, what I might do is grind this down, then I can primer it, and then while that's primer drying, I can kind of figure this out. I think my plan is to plug weld it to this panel as best we can, hit right up there in that little piece where it's solid, and then I'm going to have the pliers on this to hold it steady while we do that. But that looks pretty good. How about that? We got a dog leg on this side, again, for the first time in a very long time. A very long time. Okay, it's been primed. I got some spot putty over that. That needs to get sanded down. And then I hit that rust spot. I grinded it down and I hit it with some rust convert. So that's cool. And then that'll get fiberglass because that's a pretty big old hole there. Hopefully the spot putty is enough to cover what I was going for. It definitely ain't going to be perfect, that's for sure. But we're going for close-ish. So, on to the next bit, I think. So here's my solution for the back plate of the rocker. I have this piece of sheet metal. I got it self-tapered in, and then I seam sealed up around it. It is rough fit right now. We'll cut this after the rocker is in, because we'll just keep it flush to the rocker. But better than nothing. That gets us to the end of this panel anyway. However, it does curve, so the rocker won't be touching this last piece back here. So I haven't figured that one out completely yet. Hey, rookie learning mistake here I'm about to teach you guys. So I got this panel tacked in over here on this side. I got one vice grip holding it over here, and that's it. That's the only thing holding it. Always make sure you got your water present. I put seam sealer in here, right? Because I wanted to seal it up before I got it all welded in. Well, I didn't wait for the seam sealer to dry because I'm kind of, moving along here rushing. That is flammable. That is very flammable. You see that seam here? It's all charred black. Anyway, that went up in a big whoa. Anyway, this right there saved the day really quick. Otherwise, I got a fire extinguisher behind me too. But yeah, be mindful. So I think that's all the welding I'm going to do on there for a while until that dries, I would say. And then we'll go along and finish this. But I got a tack down there. That's the one that caught it on fire right there. Naturally. But yeah, don't do that. But hey, look at that. In other news, we've got the outer rocker on going across here. That's cool. So, and I was able to weld to that panel I made back there. So maybe I'll cut that off while we're waiting. That might be a decent idea-ish, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, starting fires. Good job, dumbass. Well, I'm pretty well calling it quits for the night, so I fit the door back on. That way this is all sealed up. But also, we wanted to test our fitment here. Not too shabby, I would say. Not too shabby. I did want to paint that quick. I did scuff it up, or primer it quick. That way it had a coat of primer on it tomorrow. But if we look right there, body line's a little out, it looks like. It looks like this panel could have gone in just a hair. Based on the door, but also I think the door's out of line. So, yeah, the door's high up here. So I bet you if we kick the door in like this, that would line up a lot better. I know when we put the door on, we didn't have anything to align it to because there was no rocker there. So I think with a little alignment with the door, I think that would not do too bad, but also it doesn't look bad at all right now. Yeah, if you look, the gap's a little small here. It's a little big up here. Big here, small there. Door needs to go. And if you look at the alignment, it's just a hair off. So, yeah. I think that would fix most of that. But I would say it don't look too shabby. Gonna up under there. I would say that's not bad at all. That is a lot better than it was. That is what I'm going to go with. Well, we got the fender off. Had to remove all of this and whatever to get the fender off. Now we got to get the door off so we can do this front rocker. There we go. Got all the spot welds drilled out that I think will need to come out. Clearly there's none down there that need it. Alright, I got all of the seams split all the way across. Now I just gotta section it out and cut it all out. Alright, there we go. We got most of this out here. As you can see, we have problems. Look at that. Almost there. Premium weight reduction right here. Okay, here's some good progress. I got the whole thing, rust deleted on. I'll let that dry before primer, but while we're doing that, I got this piece of metal in here, kind of a support brace. I tacked it in the only spots we could, tacked it to, metal. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some tin snips and some tin, and I'm going to form an make something to cover these holes here as well as that hole. And I've got something to screw it to now, and that will also help this hole together. And then once we get the actual outer patch panel in, we'll cut this flush just like we did back there. I still got to figure out this hole in here, but I don't know what I'm going to do. Form some tin, I think, and screw it in just the same. Just need to seal out the dirt, or the dirt and the dust and debris and the salt and, all that stuff. That's what we got to do. We got to seal it. But, hey, that's good progress. Okay, I've got an inner panel made. This piece is welded on like we said, and then I formed 2 pieces here, screwed them in, and then I sealed them up. Getting about ready to prime all this, let that all dry, and then we'll get to welding. Alright, here's a progress update. I've got these 2 we're gonna call it seams sealed. I've got this mostly welded in. Got all the plug welds and everything except the couple I just drilled up here. Working on filling in these gaps here. I'm almost done with that one. This one's got a little bit to go on that side. But we're looking pretty good to me. There it is. It's all welded up for now. I'll give you a sneak peek of the inside that's not so nice. It's not that bad, but, I gotta fill that panel in, and then obviously we gotta do where the passenger door is, but this is in. That ain't going nowhere. Looks good where it counts. Look at that. I do gotta cut that little extra piece off, though. Alright, look at that. Got it in there, got it primed. I got sandpaper here in a block. We're going to sand down that putty, and we're going to get ready. Put some white paint on it, I think. I don't know, I might have to fix that first, huh? Which then would delay the paint. We'll see. But that's looking pretty A-okay. Way better than it was. Still got to cut that off. I keep forgetting to do that. Okay, progress update. Got that puttied up. Got that little bit of rust sanded down. Waiting for primer. We've been working, and we have this patched up on the inside now. It's not pretty. It's definitely not pretty from this side. We got some self-tappers added here. Yeah, she's just beautiful. This side is not. This is where the botchery comes in. Added some seam sealer where the new panels over there meet the old panel, just to kind of seal it up a little bit. I got one little spot up there in the front to finish off, and then that'll get primered. This will get primered again, and then once the primer's dry, we will put some white paint on it, and we will see how it looks. It is better than it was. Yeah, for having nothing back there, we're doing pretty good. That'll just keep dust, dirt, debris out, and it will keep the oil in because we will fill this rocker. I'm curious how loud this will be now, considering the we don't have those inner channels now. It's just, the rocker, and that's it. Because there was different pieces of metal and stuff here. Now we don't have that. Looks like I got a little hole patch there too still. Definitely got to get that one patched. Okay, here's the view you get from the backside. Now that it's got paint on it, it doesn't look so bad. I mean, it does. Don't get me wrong. This is, but that's what it is for what we had. We had nothing. Alright, quick update. I got it primed. We used the filler primer for the final prime. Did 2 quick coats on it, waiting for this to flash dry. And then we're going to hit it with the base coat white that I bought for this a long time ago. And we're going to hit it. So, got all that primed all the way across, all the way down. Got the bottoms primed up. I got to hit that. I had added a little bit of seam seal there. I got to knock off the little ends there. I'm going to hit him with a primer just so it's primed. But, yeah, we're looking pretty good for a mix of doing it right and hacking it together, I would say. We're looking pretty good. Not bad, I guess. Hey, it's better than it was, is what I'm going for. And if this van hadn't been in the garage doing the rack, I'd have never got to it. And it wouldn't have happened. So now it's happened, it's done. We're looking good. And it was a good learning session on a van that, you know, we couldn't have made any worse than it was. I think I got the paint color right, or close. It's very close, if nothing else. There's the first coat. She's white. Look at that. That's pretty good. Not bad at all. I like it. I like it a lot better than it was. Holy crap. Yeah, that's nice. These cans spray really nice too, by the way. Alright, got the second coat on. I'm waiting for it to dry now. They say 5 to 10 minutes. So, you know, we do this short as possible because, you know, gotta get her done, right? That's where I'm at right now. About halfway through this can. So one can is gonna do this whole thing, I think. Which is cool. It looks pretty good. It looks really good, actually. Nicest I've seen this fan in a very, very, very long time. So now I'm going to have to clean the whole thing because the doors are all full of dirt and stuff. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? You can definitely tell if you look really close. And I also got a run in the primer. I could have done with some more skim coat and better sanding. Definitely could have done with that. What I consider is the van needs a repaint. The clear coat's gone on most of it. The roof, you can see the black primer. It'll get done if it gets repainted. I don't think it will. I truly don't think it will. This is going to give this van another couple years. Third coat's done. This stuff sprays. This can sprays really, really well, by the way. Looks really good. You can't see that. I can see the run. I don't know if you can see it on camera from the primer still. I can still see it showing through, and I can see one spot where my filler wasn't enough, and, you know, but wow, does that look good? Oh, that's so much better. And I didn't have to buy anything for this. I just used, well, I shouldn't say that. I bought the panels. I bought them, like, what, 4 years ago. What were they, what, 30 bucks, 30 bucks, 30 bucks, or something like that. I haven't had to buy anything, like, when I started this project. Like, I had all of the paints and primers and stuff on hand, all the screws, the seam sealer and stuff. I guess, okay, you consider I needed or should have bought. You would have had to buy them, but I didn't have to buy anything this time because I had it all, which is nice, I guess. I do need to come through with some paint cleaner and clean off that plastic. I didn't tape anything off, if you notice. It's a really quick job. If you're careful, you usually don't get too much overspray on anything. It looks like we did okay. So, that's about the worst spot right there is that one. But, you know, that looks really good. Wow. That's so much better. Alright, it's been half an hour. Just got the first coat of clear on. It says 4 to 5 coats of clear every 10 minutes or so. So we're looking pretty A-okay there. Starting to get a shine to it. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to call that good. I think that's 4 coats clear. Wow, does that look good. For something yesterday afternoon, I decided I'm just going to start beating away at the rust to that. That looks pretty good. I made a mistake and I'm mad. The very end on the last, or at the very start when I started doing the last coat, I kind of stumbled. And I got to run in there because I jerked the bottle and I got too much paint in one spot or too much clear or whatever. I got to run right there. You guys can't see it, but I can. Whatever. That makes 2 runs. One in the primer, which is pretty well gone away now with how many coats of clear we got on it, and then one right there. That's pretty good considering what we've done and how fast we've done it. Actually taking my time, I got 4 to 5. 4 coats of clear on it instead of 2 or 3 before I run out. So we're actually doing better than I usually do. So that is going to do it. It's going to dry here. I'm letting the garage vent out again. I got the heater on so it'll cook all night. and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. We'll see. I might get back to it. I might take the polishing wheel to it. We'll see. But that looks pretty good for now. I know the next thing we got to work on, obviously we got to get all the doors back on and the fenders and everything, but probably do that off camera and bring you back when that's done. I got to get the cradle brace plate back on for after we did the rack pinion, roughly align it, get that all good, turn it around, and then we got to do the other side. I think I did one side, I might as well knock out the other one quick. It should go quicker considering I've already cut the dog leg out of that side. But that looks very good. That looks very good. I did not think that this was going to get done, let alone, get done now. Wow, I am so happy with that. Well, I got the doors on it. Driver door had no issues. Well, besides the fact I did it myself. I used a jack. I put a old sweatshirt on there, jacked it up, balanced it, got it lined up with the hinges close enough. Got the screws eyeballed in there. Now it's on there. Doors are sealed on it. That's what I'm going for, just to be able to get it shut for the night. Got this on here. The way you do these hatches by yourself, if you can, you always get this one in first, while holding the door out as if it was like a suicide door. Get that one in, and then you get the top one in, and then while holding the bottom out, you run the get these in with your last hand, or last at the bottom. But I made a mistake. It slipped, and my imperfect paint job now has a scuff, or 3 scuffs right there, which is unfortunate. But hey, the paint job isn't perfect. There's a run. There's a little divot from the putty. There's a run up there, and I literally just sanded that rust down to metal and painted it instead of putting filler on that. This quarter will probably need more work next year, and that's when this will get taken care of. But didn't get through the primer there, which is nice, but nothing a little paint pen can't fix there, at least make less noticeable. Granted, it'll be covered in dust like that before you know it, you won't see it anyway. But hey, look at that, it's got a rocker panel on it. That's cool. That's really cool. That looks really good. I am happy with it. It's not perfect. I got to get the doors aligned. They're close, but they were never perfect because I slapped the doors on them last time just to get them on there when I bought them, because these are replacement doors because they don't have rust on them. The other doors were rotted all the way up to here and all the way up to there, hence why the rockers were gone, blah 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 blah. So yeah, I get them aligned. I can tell the rocker panel ain't sitting perfectly. It looks decent going through here now. Something's funny there, and I can't tell if it's the hinges or not. I don't have the hinges aligned, so that could be part of it. But it seems a little funny there. You see how it sticks out a little bit? I don't know if who knows? I don't know what I did, but who knows? Whatever, it's on there. It, like I said, it's good. It's metal. It is way better than it was. And that's going to do it for me tonight. I've got pretty much cleaned up. I got everything cleaned up while I was waiting on that to dry. Looks good. That's a shame right there. You can't, you can kind of see it from here. That's too bad. I just did that. I'll kick myself, but really shouldn't, because, I mean, paint chips there. There's no clear on the roof. Like I said, runs. What else? It is what it is. It's got metal in it now. That's all we care about. I sprayed some of that paint in a cup, and I took a Q-tip and I dabbed on those spots. The one spot needs a little more, but it looks better, a lot better. It's been a few days, but I'm finally back working on this. Made some progress this morning. I got all the door seals in, got this trim on, got all the stoppers on this door on, and then I did get this door aligned as well. That alignment's a lot better. Yeah, it looks way better. Pretty well dead on, so I'm just gonna finish up buttoning this up, put the fender on and whatever, and then I gotta get back to the power steering so I can turn the van around. Okay, I know I had my doubts when I first had the panels on, but now that I got the doors on, I got them aligned, I've got the fender on and aligned, I think I did pretty good. The body lines are dead on. Up here it lines up pretty good. Down here along this line is what we're looking at. Dead on all the way across. This plastic molding's on. Body gap here is pretty well the same. This body gap is the same, and the fender gap is the same. It's just a hair closer down here. I'd use a shim on the bottom, but that's okay. Lines up pretty good here where it was. Top of the door is perfect. This line is good going across. And it's flat to here, it's flat to the new quarter, and it's flat to the fender. I think we did okay. Look at that, it's all done. Needs to wash the doors. Get this road grime off this new fender here. I've had this one ready to go for it. We ended up going with the new fender. But it looks pretty good. Okay, I know half of you are screaming at me, clean the darn doors, clean the doors. Okay, I did. Cleaned them, and then I also touched up the scratches with some paint and a Q-tip, and this little ding and that little ding. A lot less noticeable now. Still got to get this tar off this fender, but we're getting there. Look at that. I got to wait for this paint to dry, and then now that it's clean, I'll probably hit it with a buffer and some polishing wax and stuff, and we'll clean them up real good. But paint match is pretty good, I would say. I would say it looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks really nice. Got this skirt on too, by the way. Yeah, I think we done good. I think we done real good. Suppose it's update time. I went and I spot corrected a lot of the dings and dents and stuff, as you can see. That's not as bad. And then I've got the cradle plate up now. I just got that all bolted up in. Got the body mount bolts back in. Reused those. Added a little bit of like anti-seize grease to them so they don't rust in that thing. But yeah, got to get this on here. The inner fender liner. And then I'm going to get tires on it, get it on the ground. We'll get it aligned. At least close. Alright, just got it polished here. It looks pretty good already. Now we just got to wax it real quick, but it looks really good. You can kind of see the blend line here if you look really close, but looks okay to me. Well, there we go. It's all waxed. Looks really good, actually. That looks really good. I got to get it aligned now. My grease gun, I got to grease the driver's side. That should be charged up. I'm going to eyeball align it. Take it for a quick test drive, make sure it's okay, and then we're going to get it in here so I can work on the other side tomorrow. And hopefully, then it'll be a rust-free van, you know, $5,000, no rust, it's never seen winter, no. It looks really good, actually. Turned out way better than I would have expected. This was practice, is what this was. So, I think we did okay. Like I said, if I took my time here and I had an extra day or 10, I could have feathered that in a little better. But you can't tell from here. How about that? Got to go up to it and you can kind of see it. But here, bring it up there. See, you can see it in the reflection. See it right there? Not perfect, but hey, she's pretty good, I would say. Alright, got it back on the ground. Got the charcoal box in that I forgot about. Gonna start it up, pull it forward so I can open the door, because when I let it down it kind of rolled back into the door, the usual. And then I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna take it for a lap to settle the shocks in, and then I'm gonna drive it back in here and get it aligned real quick after I sweep the garage floor and everything. And then we'll flip the van around and get back to work on the other side, getting the metal done. This looks so good. Like, it's like brand new. It almost is worth a transmission now. Well, there's what we got to work with. The worst side here, granted, I've already started before, 2 or 3 years ago or whatever it is. But look at that. It's almost too nice. Almost too nice. Okay, I took it for a ride, got the shock settled, and then we took a string and we lined it up center of the wheels, and then I adjusted the tie rods until the wheels, the string was touching all 4 chunks of the wheel just barely. Steering wheel straight on both sides. Then we took a tape measure, center of the tread here to center of the tread on the other side, front and back, and I think we're like an 1/8 to a 16th inch off, so it's not perfect, but it's really close. Got the tie rods tightened down, jam nut on, cotter keys in. It's pretty well done. I'm going to take it for a test drive, see how the steering wheel goes down tar road, and then that'll be that. Alright, first test drive, going down the road. Steering wheel's pretty straight, I would say. Doing pretty good. Steering feels tight, so it's not like there's any shifting between the wheels that I can feel. We'll see how it feels going down the road. Also, we're gonna see how the these junkyard wheels are balanced. Hopefully good. Hopefully there's no feeling, no shakes, no wobbles, because we fixed the loose inner and outer tie rods, all that, as well as the new rack. Seems to work. 3-man rack. Everybody said, no, stay away, stay away. Well, we'll see. It's an O'Reilly reman rack. So, yeah. I think it was a $182 plus core. Anyway, it seems fine right now. No shake at 60. No shake at 65. No shake at 70. Steering wheel is looking pretty a-okay. Maybe just a touch to the right, but with the curved road, that makes up for it. No shake. There's no shake at all. Seems fine. That wind noise is coming from the driver's door that's out of alignment, so that'll get fixed when we do that side. No shake at 75. This thing is perfect. Heck yes. She's dead on. Almost. Pretty close. And it doesn't like pull one way or another. Hit the brakes here. Brakes feel good. Remember, we fixed the rear brake shake. It doesn't pull. It stops straight. I'd say we're pretty close. I'd like to get a smaller level and try level the front wheels and just see, but I think they're pretty close. If I remember when I put them on, I kind of reused, there were some witness marks, and I kind of reused them, and you figure that would get them close. But we'll stop here. I don't see any traffic. Let's take a look. Oh, a little windy. It's kind of flurrying. That looked pretty good. Sit here. I'd say that looks okay. Contact looks good. Maybe just like that, just a hair. That one's definitely kicked out, I would say, which would cause that to wear like it was. So I'd like to get a smaller level. I'll see if I can find one. But look at that. Look how nice that is. That's clean. Just wait till the other side looks like that, and you know, have a hood on it and everything. How's power steering fluid look? We don't hear any whines and stuff. It's perfect. It's at level. I'd say we're looking pretty good. Okay, starting to make progress on the driver's side. Kind of got this door off here. I was kind of digging some foam out. Got the inner fender liner out. They got smart and they made the fuel filler neck out of stainless so it didn't rust. But this is what was behind it. You know, it was completely packed full of dirt, and somehow this is more solid than the driver's or passenger side was. But this all got to get washed, rust treated the best I can, and then covered back up, and then fluid filmed. So that way, we do have some more structure here as far as this goes. As you can see, I was poking holes through it and stuff, and this is all full of foam in here, so somehow I still gotta get in here and try to dig it out. This is full of foam up here. Some of it was my doing, some of it was before, to the point where I think I gotta pull this inner panel out and push it down. I put the panel up and I lined it up again. As you can see, I cut close last time, but I left myself some space, which I needed. So we'll cut just below this line here. That's where we'll weld. Like I said, I want to get the foam out of here before I do any more cutting so I don't catch the thing on fire. Came up here, when this slider door got ripped off, it put a dent here, so I kind of popped this down, popped it here. You can see a little bit of a divot still, which it'd be nice to get from the back, which I might be able to if I pull this panel out, pop this little divot out. Otherwise, it'll get some filler there. I mean, it probably is going to get some anyway, but at least we got the, it's not high anymore. The high spot's gone. And then I marked all the spot welds here. Got to get ready, got to drill all these out. I got some new drill bits, so that's cool. And then this door, gonna work on getting this off. This door is way out of a line, which is why it wobbles and it lets air in the top. So it'll be nice to get this aligned. You can see it. Watch this. So you go up when it goes to engage the striker. You want it to just click right in. So the bottom hinge has got to go up, or the top's got to go forward, or something. Whatever, we'll figure it out when we actually go to do it. But Gotta work back here first. So we're making some progress. Okay, this right here is a perfect example of what I am talking about when it comes to this foam. As you can see, I drilled out this outer rocker shell, and I've peeled it back here, and I have almost burned the vehicle down. 1. 2, the entire rocker panel is completely full of foam. And look behind it, rust. Wow, it's amazing, rust, crazy. Anyway, all of this needs to come out, as it is. Now, if you think I about burn it down with a cutoff wheel, imagine when I'm trying to weld these spot welds back together. So, yeah, this is not great. Yep. Like, this is wet. Like, there's moisture right here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very nice. Very nice, very nice. Anyway, I got a couple more spot welds to drill here, and I can have this whole piece out. And then there ain't much, as far as spot welds to go there because they've deleted themselves. Have to take a cutoff wheel and kind of just grind that off, I think, will be the easiest way to do that. But we're getting to the point where we're going to need to take this door off, which I'll put these two panels and get them on first. But I wanted to make sure this was all out of the way. And because I was cutting, I wanted to keep cutting, you know what I mean? Don't need to switch back and forth 30 times. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. How are you going to get that out, before this happens? You almost have to wait for it to rot out. And it's like you can't get fluid film in here to clean, to soak these rockers, because how are you going to get fluid film through this? You're not. So you kind of have to wait till they rot out. Or just hope yours doesn't have as much foam as mine does. I think mine is on the higher end of the spectrum as far as the amount of foam inside of the rocker panel. They've got this one, packed full. Whoever had the foam gun that day was like, yeah, I'm just going to use all of it. Look at this. Nice stuff about the foam that they use from this factory versus from the factory versus the spray foam is this stuff seems to peel okay. You can dig it out. Whereas newer spray foam, that you use to fill foundations and stuff, that shit is terrible. Good luck digging that back out if somebody's put some in here. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about. Alright, I got all the rocker foam out. Got the upper chunk of this rocker cut off, as we saw. Yep, that's the problem. Got to sweep all this up, get this all cleaned out of here, then I can go back to work drilling and cutting. Which I'm almost done with, to be honest. I just got to get the... we actually have a little bit of a lower rocker lip here. I got to decide what I got to keep and what I'm going to cut out, and then I got to drill the spot welds and stuff for it. So, yeah, this side, actually, the inner rocker is a lot better than the other side. I mean, it doesn't say much, but it's definitely a lot better. Okay, I got this fender off, getting ready to take the door off, but before I did that, this door was pretty out of whack when I had originally put it on, so I kind of got it closer. I got it so it lines up here, and it doesn't, like, drop when I pop the door. It still does just a hair, but, like, that could be the striker off at this point. Nah, it's pretty good. Obviously, we'll do some fine-tuning when we get both these doors back on, because we'll align it in the back, get this door kind of close, and then we'll work our way forward, get this door, and then we'll get the fender aligned to that. Then hopefully, with that all aligned, we'll be able to align the hood properly, because the fender was aligned to the door, which the door wasn't right, which caused the hood to be off. If you guys saw in some other previous clips how the hood kind of sat up from the fender, I think it was because of this. Striker had shims on it, so we got rid of those, and then the fender had shims down here. We shouldn't need any of those. Shouldn't need shims or anything. It was good enough to keep it going for a while, but now let's get her done right. Anyway, I'm going to take this door off now, and then I can finish working on this rocker. Alright, got the door off here. Got this seam kind of straightened out now. This stuff basically fell off, so I kind of cut out this really bad rust here, and then we also ground off the spot welds that were left. What a pleasant surprise. I just cleaned all the dirt and fluid film and oils and whatever off of the bottom of the rocker. Apparently, I had already started to drill these out. So, that might make it a little easier to get off. We'll see. Or at least it'll save me a little bit of time, because I've already done it. But we're looking pretty good. Like I said, there's a lot more inner rocker left on this one than the other side, surprisingly. So I only got a little bit of patching to do here and then up here. But, you know, all the way down the middle, like, I mean, this is even still, like, good right here. You know, so I got something solid to attach to, which is nice. Okay, got the dog leg panel on this side all clamped down where it's going to be. I got to make a final line and then a final cut just to clean this up so we can get it nice and flush. Everything looks good here. I test fit this panel and it lines up good and everything, so I think we're in a good spot for this. Well, here's a little bit of progress. Got it cleaned up the rust pretty good. I got this primed with weld-through etching primer. Got the backside of this panel primed as well. Obviously, we got all of our holes drilled for our spot welds. I've got it lined up, I think, about where I want it. If you look here, it's flush. The body lines seem to line up. A little bit of a bridge we're gonna have to fill here, but that's how she goes. Looking pretty good, I think. Just eyeballing it, it looks good. I think we're okay. Time should be good. I think it's been 20 minutes, which is what this says, till I can weld to it. I think we're good. I think I'm gonna start tacking it in, and this is what we're gonna go with. Finally, this is covered, because this has been cut for the last, 3 years or whatever, because I started and then I left it. But I did fluid film it when I had it exposed, so it didn't get any worse. Clean that all up, too. But it looks pretty good, I think. Lined up here all the way through. Looks good all the way through here. I think we're close. Close enough. How about that? That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Well, there we go. That ain't going anywhere. Got all the tack welds in. I did a couple touches right there. I got all these in. Ain't pretty, but that's what the grinder and paint is for. There we go. She's solid again. Still gotta fill all this in, and I'll kind of work my way through that now. But all the vice grips are off, so looking pretty good. Well, there we go. Dog legs all done, welded in. Obviously, it's got to get ground down and everything, but I'll worry about that tomorrow. I'm going to quick get this middle panel welded in. That's going to take nothing at all. A couple spot welds. I mean, a bunch of spot welds. That's what she gets. And that way, once those two panels are in, I can get the front panel lined up so I know where to cut on the A and B pillars. I do got to get this drilled out up here though first and cut out on the very bottom so I can suck the panel in. Get it close anyway. But look at that. That's pretty good, I would say. I think we got it right. Alright, got that second panel all welded in. Except I didn't. I missed the two up there like I always do. Like I did on the other side, I should say. And then I got this panel clamped in. I'm going to mark off where it's at. It looks pretty good. At least to make the final cuts, you know. Obviously, we'll double check after I get it. Well, I think that's it. I'll get it cut close to that. We'll do a final check, and then we'll go from there. But that'll be tomorrow. I just got to get the doors on it tonight. I'm about done. But it looks real good. 2 or 3 panels are in. Last one is right here waiting for it. Well, there she goes. Eggplant sold. My poor van, there she goes. First time I've seen somebody else drive it other than me. There she goes. Good luck, Eggplant. Alright, seems like a good set of buyers too, so I think it went to a good home. Alright, there she goes. Look at that. It's cold out today too. Goodbye, Eggplant. Oh, making the pass. Alright, I got the front piece drilled out and cut off. I got a little touch up to cut a little higher, but I'm going to leave it. And I'll double check my fit. As you can see, I kind of cut where I did. I just got to cut back here, which I think I got 2 more spot welds to drill. And that's it, because there isn't a spot weld there. And then we're good. And we can clean up the rust here. And then we'll put the new panel on and weld her on. Well, I got this all cut out, the A and B pillars. Got this rocker test fit. It's pretty good, I would say. I can't weld it up tonight because I got to actually treat. There is a significant bit of rust that was up in this corner here. There's a lot of foam I dug out too. There was more. Okay, got that all primed, ready to go. I got a couple small metal patches I got to do. Got the inside of the panel primed, ready to go. Then I got this weld ground down. It's ready for a filler. So I primed it with some rusty metal primer just to hit everything on the insides of this wheel arch and everything. Got all that. This primer is a little thin, and I probably put it on a little thick too, and it kind of ran a little bit. So when that dries, I'll have to knock it down a little bit. But we'll see. Otherwise, looking pretty decent. Making progress. Like I said, a lot of it's just waiting on stuff to dry. Okay, I got this inner stuff patched in here. I'm going to run some seam seal in here, just seal it up so we keep dust and stuff out. That's the goal here. And then this little bit here will be covered by the bottom seam on the outer rocker, so that'll be sealed up, and then we'll seam seal from the back side as well. Otherwise, the front is all sealed up from the rear side. We just got a little bit to seal back there once this is all done. Looking pretty decent. Alright, finally all my paint and stuff is dry. Got this panel clamped in, ready to go. I got it clamped up top. I'm going to spot weld all the top, and then I'm going to clamp down the bottom and fold rocker up, and we'll spot weld across the bottom. Otherwise, she's ready to go. Welcome back. It's been a few days. I sanded down and then I just put a final layer of skim coat on that. I think that's all we're gonna need. Sanding it the first time did pretty good. There was just a little dimple here I filled, and like I said, I went over that one more time. This is gonna turn out better than the driver's side did, I think, or the passenger side, the other side. Obviously, I'm not gonna worry too much in here. I just wanted to kind of fill it in a little bit because I was there anyway. Okay, I got the second layer of filler sanded down. I got this all cleaned up and degreased. We're going to hit this with a coat of primer. I think that's all the effort I'm going to put in. Let's see how she looks once I get a coat of primer on it. Alright, that looks pretty good where it counts, doesn't it? Not doing too bad, I would say. That'll do, I think. Alright, I think I'm done with the primer. I think we're okay. I think I'm going to hit it with paint. It looks a little striped here, but it's still wet. That'll smooth out. I used some filler primer on it to really get a good finish on the physical body lines. That looks pretty good. Alright, we got some white paint on it. I'm having a little trouble with it reacting right here, you know, in the most important spot. I don't know if it's that filler primer or what, but I might have to go over that again. This up here looks fine, though, and I use the same stuff, so that's starting to look good. It's been a while. I've been under here butchering. If you can see my patchwork and seam seal. And I missed a spot to seam seal. I can see it right there, so I'm going to do it. But that's all botched together with self-tappers and tin, and it's sealed now, so that's good. But hey, it's white now. Look at that. Alright, we're making progress. Got a few more coats on it. I'm not going to have to redo this, I don't think. I'm filling it pretty good with paint, that it's filling those cracks that were on the... however it reacted with that primer. But it's starting to look pretty good, if you could tell. Got this painted up here. This is looking pretty good, that whole jam. Obviously, this is looking decent. And then I've been working while waiting for this to dry between coats. I've got both sides of this door cleaned up. If you noticed, the paint was all chipped. Well, this door had some rust in it when I picked it up, and I did the wrong thing, and I tried pulling the seams apart to kind of treat it, and I did, but I also chipped the paint and everything while doing it, and I didn't repaint it, so we've touched it up going around. I got to do the bottom, but can't really do that with the door on the ground like this, but hey, I got the sides done. So once we get the door on, we'll do the bottom of it. But that looks a lot better than it did, that's for sure. Alright. I got all the clear coat done. It's dry to the touch now. I got all of the weather stripping and trim back in. Looking pretty good, I would say so myself. Beats the rust. It did it again. I forgot that I have to plug the door into this, so I have to have this off. Dang it. I knew I was forgetting something too, and I'm like, there's nothing here. No, it's that. Okay, I got the doors on. I think I got them aligned where I want them. I'm looking at this body line. Looks straight all the way across. The trim lines up here. The gaps are even going up and down. We're not sticking out up here or anything. This one looks good too. This gap looks pretty decent. Going across the bottom looks good. The doors are lined up together. We don't have any like sticking out or anything. And I did one little thing here. Remember this trim that's missing, right? Well, I did the right thing, and since I don't have the trim, so at least make it look black, and I took some E-tape, and I lined it, and that looks so much better from like 5 foot away. It looks a lot nicer. Now, we gotta get the fender on, get that aligned, and then we'll get the hood on. While we're aligning the fender, we're gonna need to align the hood, I know that much, so we'll get them both loosely bolted up. Come back, we'll clean all this up. Little bits and pieces, the other get tires on, she's done. Besides, it needs a buff and a wax, which will have to be tomorrow because we gotta wait for that clear coat to cure fully. Alright, fender's all bolted on. Looks pretty good right now. The only thing we gotta worry about is getting this hood lined up, and I remember we had issues with it, but we'll see what we can do to get it right. That looks pretty good, besides it needs cleaned. Look at that. I think I've got the hood set about right. It took some tweaking, like pushing down on either side and kind of folding the hood like that a little bit. I think it's tweaked. I think that was my issue, because if you remember how big the gap used to be here, Now they're even on both sides. It's pretty good, I would say. Now we need to deal with the fact that this hood, look how shiny this fender is. Look how dull this hood is, how scuffed it is. Then you can, not to mention the clear coat failure right here, but that's another problem. I'm gonna see if I get this cleaned up. We're gonna try buff it, and then we'll try polish it. Same way we're gonna do with the rest of it, but obviously I gotta wait, like I said. But we'll get the hood done, come in here and clean up the bumper a little bit, I think, too. See how nice we can make it look, but the gap is even on both sides, I would say. So it looks pretty good. I think that's where we're gonna leave it. I think that's where I'm gonna leave it. Get that. Tires on, hubcaps on, she's on the ground, mirrors on. That gap's pretty good. That gap's good. The body line is actually lined up. And most importantly, there is no rust. Right. I got the hood scrubbed down. I'm going to scrub this down here. And we'll get ready to start buffing and polishing. Alright, I got these doors cleaned up. I also sat here and I put some dish soap down and then a razor blade and I scraped off that tape that's been stuck on there for who knows how long. The difference in color you see here is when I sprayed these doors. I gotta go down and spray the bottom. So you can see I got gray primer on there just keeping it from rusting. So I'm gonna take some sandpaper to that, sand it down. We're gonna open the door, hit it with some white paint, and we're gonna make her match. There we go. Now the door is white. So I think that's good enough for paint. I'm going to let that dry for, I think, 30 minutes. And I'll hit it with a little bit of clear. That'll be that for that door. And that'll be that for all of this. That looks pretty good. Nice. I think that's about the best I'm going to get out of that hood with that paint that's on it. It's bad. It's so bad. But hey, it's got a kind of a gloss to it. And all of the dirt spots are out of it. Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. Fender turned out nice though. Look at that. Look at that shiny fender. It's better than it was. That's what we're gonna go with till I repaint it. If I repaint it, I'd say it matches okay. Like I said, we got the body lines. We got her set right. So, very good. Alright, it's update time. As you can see, the van's in the other direction now. I did that after we got the hood all buffed and waxed. That way I could do the driver's side and have space. And I've got it buffed. I got to wax it still. This fender's been waxed already, but I think it has. But I've got to wax the doors and the back quarters. Just buffed the doors once. They came out pretty well. This I did twice. It's a little rough, but that's kind of how my finishing job was. But, hey, it looks pretty good. I will get a coat of wax on it. We'll see how it goes. And then I also got the hatch buffed. That turned out pretty good. I had some tape marks and stuff on here from where I taped up and painted some stuff pretty poorly a couple years ago. I've gone through, I've corrected those, and I've got all the tape off with the buff. And then I've been going through with a Q-tip and spotting the rear bumper, which this was all spotted with black spots. On camera, it looks perfect now. And then I came down at the bottom with a can and I sprayed the bottoms of the bumper here where the rock chips had knocked all the paint away. And now they look really good. So I'm waiting for that to dry, and while that dries, I'm going to wax the doors and stuff. But that looks pretty good. And then there was a really big spot here that I painted. I sanded down some rust here a couple years ago and then primed it, never painted it. So I dotted that up with a Q-tip. What I do is I take the can, spray it into like a cup. As you can see, I've got overspray on my hands. And then dab a Q-tip in it, and that seems to work pretty good. They make those touch-up pens. It's the same concept. Otherwise, the hatch looks pretty good. This did really well with the buffer. Look how shiny that chrome is. That came out really well, actually. We're in the final stretch. I'm going to get this waxed. Get this waxed back here. I think I'll wax the bumper. I'm not going to buff the bumper. I'm just going to put a coat of wax over it. The bumper is just so rough. It is what it is. She's been beat, but it looks a lot better than it did. Oh, and I snuck a couple self-tappers in here because the bumper's kind of warped here, or was, and it was hitting the bottom of the liftgate. Now it looks pretty good. I sunk some self-tappers into it. And then this is getting driven to work tomorrow. It's ready to go. Shake it down. Technically, it still needs an alignment from the struts I put in it. But, hey, the steering is straight, so now that's fixed. It's just a what is that, camber? Camber's a little off, but it looks pretty close to me. I think they'll be all right. I think it was the steering that was off. So I used the marks that were on the struts to kind of get it close, and this, the spindles, I used the witness marks. So they're close, I know that. And these were just $25 junkyard tires anyway. I think I'm just going to run it. We'll see. We'll see if I get ambitious. But hey, I really, really, really did not think I was going to get this project done, because I tried to sell the van. I tried to when I picked up the 94 Town & Country. The van proved to be unsellable with 318,000 miles and no reverse. Nobody was interested at $500. Granted, that was just before winter. Now that winter's here, I bet you I could have got rid of it, because people tend to wreck their cars in the snow and then they need something to get to work. And that's what this ends up being. But whatever, we have then fixed it because it was unsellable. And I did it before winter. I mean, right now there isn't snow on the ground. So I'm very glad. This project was a long time coming. I'm sorry to this poor van that I beat on it and tore it apart a couple years ago. But hey, it is back in one piece and better than it's been in a very long time. Yeah, this thing looks freaking sweet. I did some funny business here. So remember that bumper that's tore right there? I took a soldering iron and I kind of melted it back together. I think it's better than it was, and then I hit it with a rattle can. I think that's better from back here. I think that looks better. Up close it looks like crap, but it looked like crap before too. I'm going to say that's a win. That worked out. Alright, here's the final walk around. It's all done. Hood gap's looking a lot better than it was. I like that. It's even on both sides. Fender gap's looking good. The fender looks nice. I don't know if you guys ever saw it before. Maybe if I find some pictures, I'll insert them. But a long time ago when I was a lot younger, when I was pushing this back one day, I had the door open, right? Well, I caught the door on the back of my old Saturn fender and folded the door out, folded the fender in. That was a whole deal. That was the original start to replacing the body panels when I finally did it in like 21 or 2022, is this fender and this door. And they look good now. No rust here. We're looking at rocker all the way across. We've got a dog leg that's fully present. If you guys remember when we started here, I've had that one cut out for a couple years now. We've got metal there now. The paint is really, this door is a lot brighter than the rest of the vehicle. And the doors and fenders this van came off of were of suspect origin. The van that they came off of had body and paint work done to it. This fender in specific has some, I think it got shot with like a shotgun or something, or a pellet gun. It's got a bunch of like pinholes in the back that are like filled with Bondo, like right here. Like it got shot. Anyway, that whole fender's been painted. I think the door was painted. Something is weird here. This might be the original color. I don't know. But it looks way better in person. It's really noticeable on camera, but in person it looks a lot closer. That looks pretty good. It's a little dull because the finish isn't so smooth. I could have worked some more on it, but I'm not going to. This quarter looks good. The bumper looks a lot better now that we paint corrected all the rock chips. This hatch I put on it, I gotta put the plate on. I'm not done, but I'm done as far as you're concerned. Looks really good. She is an LX model now. Not originally, it's not actually. This hatch is an LX, off an LX van, but we've done some upgrades to it. I would consider it an LX model now. Come around to this side, and this quarter looks good. We've got some, actually I think we just ground down and rust converted and then primed it here. There's some, you can feel it here, right here where I just painted instead of smoothed it up, but it looks pretty decent. It looks better than that, which looks okay. You can see the line where my weld is, but hey, we've got full metal all the way down. This panel, I noticed this while I was doing the other side. It's tweaked like this when I welded it on it, because I have nothing to weld to under here. I'm not gonna lie. There is some butchery on the inside of this rocker on the back side, on both sides, but what can you do? There's nothing there, nothing to weld to. I made it work, but with the lack of whatever to weld to, the panel is kind of tweaked in. You can kind of see it where there's some extra, this is filled with a seam sealer, and I believe it's like that from factory. It's tweaked in. You can see the gap there just a little bit. This panel could have been like that, just a little bit, and it would have looked a lot better, but it doesn't look bad. It looks really bad from there. You come to this side, it looks perfect. But only when you're looking here you can tell. So this is me nitpicking it. This door looks good. This all look good. The body lines line up good. I got it all aligned. When I slapped these doors on before, just to get the van drivable, I never lined them up or anything. I got them eyeballed close. Now we got them good. Come around up here. Got some nice shiny here. It looks like, I was washing it. Some drip down here. Got some paint marks here, some dings. There's a scratch right there. And the fender, this body gap looks pretty good. Hood looks pretty good. Got the wipers all back on it. This hood is really bad. When this hood was painted, they didn't sand it very well. If you look, you can see it. It's all pitted and stuff. And then the clear coat burned through here, was burned through. So when I had to 2,000 grit wet sand this, and then 25, 3, and then 5, and then I was able to polish it. And I got most of it out. It's still in there a little bit, but it's so much better. I was starting to burn through. You can see the primer starting to come through there. But that hood's way better than it was. It's shiny now. And I did 2 coats of wax after polishing it, and that seemed to do okay. This bumper's what it is. It's not too bad. Otherwise, this thing looks like $1,000,000 compared to what it was. Nice as it's been in a very, 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 very long time. This chrome turned out really well, too. I like that. So, that, I think, is going to do it for now on the 2005 Chrysler Town & Country, otherwise known as old van, no reverse van, white van. It's got a bunch of different names. Yeah, nope, did good. We did very good, I think. And I'm going to drive it now. I've got the rockers fluid filmed on the inside, on the backside, on the seams, everything. The inside of the wheel arches, the bottoms of the fender. It's all fluid filmed. The best it's going to be. It should be okay for many years to come. I think the next time you guys see this, besides me, maybe here and there, or see it in the background or whatever, is eventually, if I still have the van, if I don't manage to sell it, I'm not selling price for what it is, on Marketplace or whatever. But if I don't, the engine has got 318 something thousand miles. It could probably use a timing chain. I know it needs an oil pressure sensor because it's leaking around it. Once in a while I get a flash of a low oil pressure light, but it doesn't make noise. And if I was under it and it's leaking through the connector, so it's junk. That's the problem. It needs valve covers, intake gaskets, oil pan gasket, but it also needs a transmission. So I figure in the future maybe we will actually get around to putting a junkyard transmission in. They can be had for $150, pulled for you, all ready to go at just a random salvage yard. These transmissions they're plentiful because the vans are plentiful. So maybe we'll do that, and I'll pull the whole drivetrain, and then we'll just seal up the engine on the engine stand, assess it, take a look at it, see how she is, see how the bearings look underneath. But that's not a guarantee, no guarantees. For now, I'm just going to drive it, enjoy it. And this gives me time to work on some other vans, like the 94 Town & Country's got to come in here for a water pump, and then the 93 Grand Voyager, I don't know, I named it Turnup, but somebody suggested Shroom, and I kind of like Shroom. That's kind of a good name. I'm not for sure on that yet. By the time you guys see this, I will be for sure, but who knows. Anyway, that was a long-winded outro. I think the van deserves it, so thank you once again. Oh, and I didn't point out, you guys remember this? I electrical taped that because I don't have that plastic piece, and I broke mine getting it off when I was messing with the seams on the stupid door. And everyone at the junkyard, you have to have the window down to get it out, and you can't have the window down at the junkyard. I gotta get like a drill battery, like hot wire a window motor. For now, the black tape at least makes the body line look good, I think. You can't hardly tell. It looks really good, actually. Anyway, that's it. I'm done pointing things out. It looks really good for what it was and what I was working with. And honestly, I've never really done body work like that before. This was practice, so this will make my body work on some of my other vehicles hopefully nicer, and I will also spend more time on them. This was a let's get it done quickly. I made some shortcuts and stuff, but it also still took me 3 weeks on and off working on it on the weekends. And I think it turned out very well. Beats the rust, that's for sure. So, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that fancy, fun stuff for more, I don't know, me working on minivans, I guess. Alright, we're driving the 05 into work. This thing drives so much nicer. Wheel's pretty close to straight. It goes down the road. It tracks fine. The noise is a lot better. I got this driver door. It used to rattle. It wasn't on right. And also, not to mention, the hole in the rocker's gone. This thing is so much quieter. These tires that are on it are a lot nicer, so they're also quieter. This thing is so much nicer to drive. Heck yeah, I think we got it.